The 4th of July sun blazed over Willow Grove, its orderly lawns and colonial homes shimmering in the heat. But beneath the festive hum of the community picnic, a spark was about to ignite a firestorm no one saw coming. It started with a shriek that sliced through the laughter, freezing every head in the park. Evelyn Carter, Willow Grove's HOA tyrant, stood clutching her pristine silk blouse, now marred by a VYVYD streak of mustard and ketchup. At her feet lay a hot dog, its bun a mangled ruin on the grass. Across from her, Thomas Reed, a silver-haired widower with a lawyer's poise, held an empty plate, his face a mask of disbelief. This wasn't just an accident, it was the opening shot of what Willow Grove would soon call the condiment calamity. I'm Sarah Mitchell, a 37-year-old literature teacher who'd moved back to my hometown a year ago to be near my father, Thomas, after his health took a minor dip. Nothing alarming, just enough to make me swap my city loft for a cottage 15 minutes from the sprawling four-bedroom where I'd grown up. At 75, Thomas was sharp as ever, his Harvard law degree still a point of pride, though he'd long retired from corporate battles. "This house is your mother's legacy," he'd told me when I suggested a condo. "Her roses, your old swing set, are memories of not Leah VYing." So he stayed, walking his spaniel, Murphy, tending the garden, and hosting his bridge club, all while dodging the HOA's eagle-eyed enforcer, Evelyn Carter. Evelyn was a legend in Willow Grove, her obsession with rules bordering on obsession. She'd fine you for a slightly crooked mailbox or a lawn one shade too wild, her emails landing like subpoenas. Most residents complied, worn down by her relentless scrutiny. Thomas, though, flew under her radar. His property was immaculate, his life quiet until that picnic. The annual 4th of July bash was Willow Grove's pride, a spread of burgers, hot dogs, and potluck sides under red, white, and blue banners. Thomas and I arrived as the grills roared, filling our plates and settling at a picnic table near the slides, where Thomas could watch his bridge buddies' grandkids play. We were halfway through our meal when Evelyn loomed over us like a storm front. "Mr. Reed," she said, ignoring me, her voice sharp as a blade. "You're eating outside the designated zone." Thomas paused, hot dog in hand, and glanced around. We were at a picnic table, surrounded by others eating. "I thought this was for eating," he said mildly. "It's a picnic table." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "Designated areas have green tablecloths. This is the play zone. Section 7.4 of the event rules bans food within 25 feet of playground equipment." Thomas set his hot dog down, puzzled. "Is that new? I don't recall it." Evelyn's smile was icy. "Approved in March, published in April. Page 2. You'd know if you read it." I felt my blood heat. Evelyn could make a parking ticket sound like treason, but Thomas stayed calm. "We're almost done. Could we finish here? It's just a few bites." Evelyn's jaw tightened. "Rules are rules, Mr. Reed. Exceptions cause chaos." I'd had enough. "Evelyn, it's a hot dog, not a hazmat spill. Thomas's arthritis is flaring today. MOVYing's a hassle." She barely glanced at me. "I enforce the rules, Sarah. I don't make them." Thomas touched my arm, always the peacemaker. "It's okay, Sarah. We'll move." He stood, balancing his plate and drink, easing around the bench. Then it happened. Evelyn, maybe impatient, reached toward his plate, whether to point or grab. No one could say. Thomas flinched, and the hot dog flew, arcing through the air to land with a wet smack on Evelyn's blouse, mustard and ketchup splattering like a crime scene. The park went silent. Kids froze. Even the birds seemed to hush. Evelyn stared at the stain, her face twisting in horror, then at Thomas. "You did that deliberately," she hissed, voice rising. "You food criminal." Thomas, shaken, grabbed a napkin. "Evelyn, I'm so sorry. It was an accident." "I'll pay for stay back," she snapped. "This is assault. Condiment assault. You'll regret this." Thomas tried again, voice steady. "I'll cover cleaning costs. Let's talk this out." But Evelyn was gone, her face scarlet, storming toward the clubhouse as whispers and stifled giggles trailed her. 3 days later, a violation notice appeared on Thomas's door, HOA letterhead crisp and accusing. It charged intentional food misuse causing property damage and event zoning violations, demanding due law $150 for Evelyn's blouse and a due law $50 fine. Over coffee, I fumed. This is nuts, Dad. She's billing you for her own clumsiness. Thomas studied the notice, his lawyer's eye sharp. Odd, he said. They cite bylaw 21.5, but that's about holiday lights, not picnics. And no board signature. This isn't valid. I snorted. So she's not just vindictive, careless. Thomas sipped his coffee. I'll call Richard tomorrow. Richard Hayes, the HOA president, was a retired engineer with a practical streak. But Richard's voicemail revealed he was on a 2-week fishing trip with Evelyn acting president. That's a wrinkle, Thomas said, undaunted. He wrote a calm rebuttal, denying the charges, noting the accident, and listing the notice's errors. He dropped it at the HOA office, where Evelyn's assistant took it nervously. 2 days later, another notice arrived, citing the right bylaw, but raising the fine to due law $75 for noncompliance. A scrawled note warned, delays will increase penalties. The notices piled up, each bolder, claiming Thomas had a history of defiance despite his spotless record. By the third, Evelyn threatened to due law $300 lien if the now, due law $250 in fines weren't paid. She's out of control, I said, pacing Thomas's levying room. This is harassment. Thomas stayed cool. She's making mistakes, wrong citations, no appeal info, unauthorized threats. She's building a case against herself. But Evelyn upped the ante, spreading whispers that Thomas was slipping, that the hot dog was proof he couldn't live alone. Mrs. Larson, his 79-year-old bridge partner, called, outraged. She asked if you seemed unstable, Thomas. I said the only instability is her grip on reality. The breaking point came when Evelyn called an emergency board meeting to address resident safety concerns, listing Reed violations as the focus. The notice set the meeting for Thursday at the clubhouse. She's turning this into a circus, I said, stunned. Thomas smiled, marking his calendar. Good. I got a few things to say. The clubhouse was packed that Thursday, neighbors spilling into extra chairs. The hot dog horror, teens' nickname for Ithad, drawn a crowd. Evelyn entered at 7 p.m., flanked by 2 uneasy board members, her blazer pinned with an HOA badge, a thick binder in hand. She spotted Thomas and me, her lips twitching with satisfaction. Good evening, she began, voice syrupy with control. With President Hayes away, I'm presiding. We're here to address a resident's willful property damage and refusal to comply. Murmurs stirred. Evelyn flipped open her binder. Since July 4th, Thomas Reed has ignored 4 notices, accruing due law $250 in fines, and displayed VY, or suggesting he may not respect our standards. Mrs. Larson scoffed loudly. Evelyn ignored her. I propose a censure, applying the fines, and a 3-month probation, with further violations escalating to legal steps. She looked at Thomas. Mr. Reed, care to speak? Thomas rose, smoothing his sweater, and walked to the podium with quiet dignity. He unfolded a single page. Good evening, he said, voice clear. I'm Thomas Reed, Willow Grove resident for 41 years, father to Sarah, and chair of the HOA's legal committee for 9. Evelyn's eyes widened. She hadn't connected Thomas to DR. Thomas Reed, legal expert. Let's re-VYEWMS. Carter's claims. The July 4th incident was an accident, seen by 15 neighbors, 10 with written statements. He nodded at Mrs. Larson, who brandished a folder. The notices? Invalid. Issued without approval, citing fake bylaws. Missing appeal details clear violations of our rules. Whispers grew. Evelyn's face tightened. Worst, Thomas said, voice firm, MS. Carter has spread lies about my mental health, claiming I'm unfit to live alone. That's defamation under state law and elder discrimination federally. The room hushed. As legal chair, I warned the board. Her actions risk lawsuits, fines, even HOA dissolution. Evelyn's binder trembled. But we can fix this, Thomas said. Void the notices, apologize for the slander, and reform enforcement to protect us all. He stepped back, and applause broke out, starting with Mrs. Larson and spreading fast. Evelyn stood rigid, her control unraveling. Richard returned to a changed Willow Grove and a stack of complaints. He called a board meeting Evelyn skipped, blaming personal issues. The board nullified the notices, set new leadership rules, and formed an ethics panel. Thomas declined to lead it, suggesting a mixed group but agreeing to consult. Evelyn's apology was a terse, lawyerly note, admitting errors and misstatements. Soon after, she announced she wouldn't run again, citing a job transfer for her wife to Austin. Most saw it as an exit strategy. Neighbors rallied around Thomas, dropping off pies and sharing their own Evelyn stories, exposing her wider reign of fear. She thought rules were community, Mrs. Larson said over bridge. She missed what binds us. By the next 4th of July, Willow Grove was reborn. The picnic planned by a new council was free and lively, tables scattered, kids racing unbound. Thomas, now 76, spoke briefly. "A hot dog shook us awake," he said, grinning as laughs rose. "It showed us we're neighbors, not subjects. Let's keep it that way." Walking home, he chuckled. Evelyn cared about standards, but not the right ones. "Like?" I asked. "Kindness. Sense. Knowing a hot dog's just lunch, not a felony." I grinned. "Bylaw material. The muster mandate," he said, eyes bright. Before fining, ask, "Is it a frank or a feud?" And Willow Grove moved on, wiser, warmer, forever shaped by a hot dog's unexpected flight. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.